Hi there and welcome back to Valley por Vida. Now, as promised, we've got a really interesting story about high school students who are learning all that they can from members of NASA. And this is really innovative, really unique, really exciting. So go ahead and check it out.
The galley table that's on the space station my students designed.
It's not common for leaders at NASA to lecture high school kids, but when you're an engineering student and your task is to design a product for Johnson Space Center, the sky is literally the limit.
Working for NASA is a pretty big deal.
Nathan Hellray High School is the first in the country to work on NASA's Express Rack project, designing highly machined metal brackets that will hold onto shelves that will hold experiments.
So they're going to be using these parts at Johnson Space Center to make sure all of these experiments fit, because you don't want to send them up to space and then have them not fit.
Educator Dustin Rickey's prior work on the NASA Hunch program opened opportunities here in Moodus for students.
Who doesn't want to work for NASA? And it's just, it's building great skills for the students, but also, you know, the skills aside, just putting NASA on your resume, like, it's a fantastic thing.
It takes a certain curiosity to land in an engineering elective in the first place.
I was a kid who played with Legos and built Legos all the time, and now I'm building with nuts and bolts.
Junior Wyatt Martin and his colleagues are designing an L bracket from a solid aluminum block, starting with drawing software and removing 90% of materials, making specified holes with high accuracy.
It's kind of a slow process at first, but now we're all getting the hang of it, and now we're running through it, and now we're almost done, so we're all excited to see the final product.
Aside from career opportunities, students are also learning how to apply STEM lessons in everyday life.
With the NASA Hunch program, it's a big brag, basically. So we can go anywhere and say, yeah, we made parts for NASA, and just what we learned from the class in general is how we can adapt our problems and how we can fix problems to get to our final goal and get what we need.
And if they meet these near paper-thin specifications, they'll get a shot at making flight hardware that will actually go into space.
We're so happy these students are starry-eyed about their future and about learning from these professionals. And of course, naturally, I wonder, is there something that we can learn from NASA too right now? All right, so according to EasyScienceForKids.com, did you know that apparently if you receive a text from the International Space Station, it's probably to let you know that they're passing over your location? So cool. The site also says that NASA invented invisible braces that actually have scratch-resistant lenses and so many other interesting features. And did you know that it also says Apollo astronauts were most likely unable to be eligible for life insurance because their careers were way too dangerous for the company or any company. That's also very crazy, right? The site also says that apparently it's a myth that NASA spent millions of dollars making the space pen, like a writing pen. A lot of people thought this was true and happening at the same time that Soviet astronauts were thought to be using a pencil. And the site also says that a man named Thad Roberts was an intern at NASA that actually got in a little bit of a legal bind after contaminating stolen moon rocks. Now, NASA is not only an inspiration to us all in real life, but in the movies too. The site says that the movie Armageddon was, or it showed NASA's workflow rather, with various trainings and even asked trainees to figure out whatever scientific inconsistencies that they could to make the movie more realistic. And I love that. And did you know that NASA has an Office of Planetary Protection? Yeah, when you work for a big company like that, many precautions are set forth to make sure that order remains. And lastly, the site outlines that there's a dying star named Mira that is actually one of the most important discoveries of all NASA. Apparently, it's a star that is currently flying all about our beautiful universe, and while it's doing so, it's shedding pieces of matter. Very interesting. And did you know that one of the first animals in space ever, along with a member of the monkey family, was actually a dog? She was a beautiful Russian dog named Laika. which is actually who my puppy Laika is named after. He's a boy. And this Russian dog's story is pretty interesting. It's a mixture of pride and bravery, along with a little bit of sadness for what she endured. It really just kind of reminds you to protect your own pets as much as possible. And speaking of our furry friends, there are a lot of homeless dogs and cats out there, unfortunately, just like Russian space dog Laika was. But there are things that we can do to help our local shelters.
So as far as capacity, we look at a couple of different things. Historically, it's been cage space because that was our biggest limiting factor, but right now it's staffing as well. So we have about 35 to 40 open dog cages a night, which typically would have been a good situation for us to be in, but with our staffing crisis that we've been facing for the last several months, we are starting to get very concerned about space, and we expect that if adoptions don't pick up, we're going to be at crisis level again within the week. Yeah, so it's not necessarily that we're seeing more pets. Since we went to emergency status back in February, we're actually taking in less pets because we're triaging them, taking in emergency situations. It's just our ability to care for them that is really the limiting factor right now. So as the dogs especially, because our cat population is pretty low right now, but we expect that to pick up in the coming month because kitten season is coming, as we call it at the shelter. But dogs especially, when they're at the shelter, they're not getting quality time with employees or volunteers. Cleaning suppers and all of these shortcuts have to be taken. That takes a toll on the dogs' mental health and then their physical health as well, which then increases their length of stay at the shelter and just really decreases the number of adoptions that we see, increases the length of stay that they sit there at the shelter. Yeah, so I don't think it's fair to compare numbers because our intakes have been lower than they were last year. But if you look at adoptions as a percentage of intake, we are staying pretty consistent around that 33% mark. So 33% of the animals are coming in are getting adopted, which is very consistent with January through March of 2021. What we are noticing is that our rescue partners are pulling significantly less, so 8% less than last year. And those are animals that leave the shelter, go with other organizations to go up for adoption. So while we're holding steady with our adoptions, that tells me that our rescue partners are seeing a decrease in adoptions. Because we've got some very loyal rescue partners that work with us, and whenever they have space to do adoptions, they will pull animals for us.
All right, that's all we've got for now. Thanks again so much for joining us today, and be sure to tune in again next time because we'll have a lot more in store for you. But for now, don't forget to follow our team on social media for exclusive behind-the-scenes sneak peeks at what we're filming for the show. And of course, for your chance at your comment or even your question to be featured on air. And you can always visit valleycentral.com to rewatch some of today's favorite segments. We've got all that and so much more next time on Valley Florida Vida. We'll see you then.